We have been studying about cell, its structure and functions. Now let us try to find out whether the cells are flat or do they have a three-dimensional structure. For that, when you observe a cell under a microscope, it appears as if it is flat and two-dimensional, and it appears as if all the cell organelles are lying in the same plane. But in fact, a cell has got length, breadth and thickness as well. It is three-dimensional. So to observe this three-dimensional image of a cell, we take one plant cell slide and observe it under the microscope by slightly changing its focus and observe the cell wall. We can clearly see the thickness of the cell wall. So with this we can imagine, we can understand that the cell has got length, breadth, thickness as well. When we observe the three-dimensional picture of an animal cell, here by cutting open it, we can clearly see the cell organelles are lying, or actually they are present at different planes. We can clearly see here mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, nucleus, nucleolus, all present in different planes. They are not present in the same plane. So here we can see clearly the three-dimensional picture of a cell showing the cell organelles to be present at different planes. So with this we can understand that a cell has got length, breadth and thickness as well. So each cell acquires its structure and ability to perform because of its organization, because of its organization of its cell membrane and organelles to perform in a specific way. So in this way we can understand that cells are not flat. They have got a three-dimensional picture. They have got three-dimensional structure. Till now we have been studying about the chapter cell, its structure and functions. Now we will try to study and understand where the cells come from. From the observations done till now, it is understood that all the living organisms have got, or all the living organisms are comprised of cells and they have a nucleus. This was expressed in the form of cell theory by two scientists by name Schleiden and Schwann. By that time there were few other scientists who have recognized that living organisms have got cells and they were expressing it in their own ways. But these two scientists, for the first time, they have taken a bold step of generalizing from their observations and came up with a theory that is applicable for all the living beings, whether it is plants or animals. So the credit for propounding the cell theory goes to these two scientists. But their cell theory was unable to explain about the formation of the new cells or where the cells came from. And there was a gap of nearly 200 years between the first observation of the cell by Robert Hooke and the formulation of this cell theory. As I have told you that the cell theory of these two scientists was unable to explain about the formation of the new cells or where the cells came from. But one more scientist by name Rudolf Karl Virchow in the year 1855 has explained about the formation of the new cells or where the cells came from. He has explained that the new cells came from the pre-existing cells, or cells are formed by the division of the pre-existing cells. And he modified the cell theory of Sheldon and Swan, and he gave the final cell theory. From that, we understood that the new cells are created or new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells. So, cell theory understood, which is understood today, has got two cardinal principles, and these principles are all the living organisms have got cells and are the products of the cells, and all the cells are created from the pre-existing cells.